Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Careers 2.0. I'm Filip and I will be your host, which I am very excited about. I am a sales guy and a marketer, and my public speaking usually happens behind the closed doors of meeting rooms and Zoom calls and not in front of the camera. So if you're listening to this, then chances are we're quite alike. We want to learn about building an audience online, productizing our skills, and build what we call a Career 2.0. Today, we're talking with Maris, creator turned entrepreneur and founder of Sellfy, a company behind this podcast. We'll take you behind the scenes of the creator economy and allow you to learn not from a single creator, but from a guy who has helped thousands of them. We'll talk about the problems that most creators face and what makes them successful. As Maris will say himself, we want to help creators learn from other creators. I think it's a great way to kick things off, so if you're up for it, don't forget to subscribe and let's jump right in. Maybe let's start with you. So you said that creator economy is the one market and industry that you would like to work with. What is it about it that interests you so much?
Yes, absolutely. We only in recent years defined that we wanted to work specifically in creator economy. Before that, it had many different definitions and creators called themselves in different words. And we ourselves also were not very focused. But to actually going back to very beginnings of Sellfy, we were creators as well. When we started the company, at the time we were working in website design and development, and we sold WordPress themes together with my co-founder. And we wanted to essentially create a best platform to sell digital products for ourselves, first and foremost. And when we started to research the needs of others, we very soon discovered that it's also the same problem for designers, musicians, and we created Sellfy as a place where to do e-commerce specifically for digital products. So this is how it started and evolved in a much more comprehensive platform.
What were the issues that you were trying to solve for yourself?
I think at that time there were a lot fewer e-commerce platforms in the first place, but most of them, if not all of them, were specifically designed for kind of shipping and selling physical goods online, which is, of course, was much more bigger market, and nobody paid attention to creator needs and selling digital products. And there was not a good platform to do that. There was some specific solutions in some certain niches, like, for example, software. But on the broader scale, courses, ebooks, design assets, it was really challenging to sell them through existing e-commerce platforms. And we saw that this is an opportunity where we can create a really awesome solution.
That's also one of the questions that one of members of our audience asked. How did you envision the clients or the audience for Sellfy at the very beginning and how it evolved over time?
Yeah, actually, from very beginning, we paid a lot of attention on social media. At that time, it was much smaller than it is now, of course, but we saw that it's a very fast-growing platforms, and we wanted to make sure that our solution is built for the future, not for the past, meaning that Sellfy would be usable in those new emerging social media platforms first and foremost, and maybe then it could have also some features that also serve some technologies that maybe were built in the past, like website embeds and stuff like that. So that was a huge thing that we thought about very hard at the very beginning of Sellfy.
If you're saying that you were trying to build Sellfy for the future, so what does the future look like now? What are you building the Sellfy for?
Very good question. So we talked already a lot about digital products, and I think this is for creators. It's for many of them, it's still the go-to product for them to create and sell to their audience. But we see more and more that creators move also in the physical world, creating different physical products And that's why we also started to build those features into Sellfy, selling physical products, print on demand, which is our fastest growing segment at the moment. And we see that creators really like that, and audience also appreciates that there is something physical they can touch and receive from creator. So I think that trend will continue, and digital creators will step into physical world more and more in the future.
Do you see this as the same target audience and the same people that move from digital products to the physical ones, or you see it as two different categories? So for me, for example, when I hear digital products, I'm thinking again designers, musicians, right? So is the POD, the print on demand, also for them, or you're thinking about people who maybe more monetize their influence, right? Their celebrity status in some way to create merch for their personal brands?
Yeah, there is certainly some niches where certain product types work better than others. But I think we have also saw on Sellfy that our customers can be very creative, and they can create really awesome products almost for every niche. And they can be digital as well as physical or print on demand products. So I think the limitation really is the creativity of a creator and how they see their audience and what they can actually create for their audience that they would like and appreciate.
Okay, when you mentioned that the Sellfy creators can be very creative, do you have something in mind, some specific that sticks out in your mind?
For sure, I think the COVID times actually opened up a lot of creativity in the places where you previously didn't see that. One specific example I can give is that during the various restrictions, we had a customer, I think it was in New Zealand. There were different restaurants that combined and created a really awesome cooking ebook because they were closed, but they still wanted to give their audience and their customers something to enjoy. So they created the ebook. Every restaurant contributed with one recipe. I think it was the model and the idea behind the ebook. And they created a really awesome digital product that you can buy and then cook at home and enjoy the meal. So I feel so things like that I really appreciate, and we see them on Sellfy on a regular basis. So definitely there is always something that you can think of, and whether it's digital or physical, it's nice to see.
And let's move back to you personally for a second. So you said yourself that you have been a creator before, and then you sort of transitioned into a founder and SaaS founder, entrepreneur. Do you see a big overlap of, let's say, skills and like personal qualities or knowledge that is necessary for both of those categories of business people, or it's a completely different cake?
It's an interesting question, but because I think I have seen many creators, many entrepreneurs with very different skill set. But I think what's common is that they all have initiative and enthusiasm and things like that. Because everything else you can learn or delegate, no matter how you solve that. But I think that the initiative is very important, and this is I think, defining factor for you to start to do your own thing. I think that's the must-have, and everything else could be learned.
I have no doubt that you have initiative, that's for sure, knowing you personally. But what do you think? What would you say is the thing that you have learned, the most important thing that you have learned over the years?
I did learn a lot about how to work with people, how to solve different problems together with my colleagues, both working with the team and also solving different problems for customers and trying to build the best product for them.
Okay, that's actually something that I would like to talk about maybe a bit more, which is what you have spent the last X years researching, which is your clients. They are the solopreneurs, creative entrepreneurs in the creator economy. So what are the problems, the biggest problems, the challenges that they face And on the other hand, what characterizes the successful ones?
I will then start maybe what are the typical problems we see. Again, I will go back to that initiative. They all have initiative. They all have ideas about what they wanted to do also in regards of e-commerce and selling online and monetizing their audience. They a lot of times, if it's a first experience for them, they lack some specific knowledge about store setup, payments, how it all works together. And we are very happy to support them through that process, providing best practices, what we saw working for other creators, and also just educating them about possibilities of our platform, first and foremost, but also like very general e-commerce related topics. So that's kind of our job and what our team does. What distinguishes good and bad, if I can say so, creators.
Successful and yet not yet successful.
Specific aspect to every creator who is successful. There is something that draws people in to listen, to watch. And it's very hard to define. But if you know some guys that you like to watch on YouTube, for example, you definitely know that there is something special about this guy or girl that you like, and you wait for every new video, every new piece of content that comes out, and you are pleased to watch it and can really enjoy. So I cannot really define that aspect, but what I can say is that from very first minute that you observe or read or listen to a creator you like, you will notice it and connect immediately with such a person, such a creator, because there is something that talks to you specifically.
What you're saying sounds to me like the successful ones have very well developed personal brand.
Yes, very well put. Thank you, Filip.
All right. So what I'm getting at is that a lot of people have, understandably, a problem putting themselves out there, right? Putting their faces out there, making videos of themselves, being in front of a camera. I know it's not that easy to be in front of a camera. So would you say that this is whether has been previously or is a defining factor for future success?
I think, if we go back to the question, what makes a successful creator, I think there is something unique about them that makes people notice that specific person, that specific creator or piece of content, right? And that uniqueness can be very different, right? Mm-hmm. You can be very handsome looking. You can be really knowledgeable.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I think, people who are looking for different qualities or different information or different content will notice something different. And it doesn't always mean that, you need to be very outgoing, expressive to be liked. You can also be very quiet and maybe shy, but be very knowledgeable and provide completely different type of content to your audience that is based on different qualities, right? And an audience different audience will be drawn to different pieces of content. And I think there is a place, especially now where these platforms are really huge and the audience is massive, you can find a place for yourself, no matter who you are and what you are doing and what's your style of creation and what's your style of expressing yourself. I think you have many possibilities, but you need to know what is that unique skill or unique aspect you bring to the table, and this is something that you need to work on and to attract the audience.
From your observation, how important it is for a starting creator to become successful in order to, as a proper business, define their audience and their niche, as we were talking about before? Or would you say, in your case, exploration of your own skills and your own knowledge should come first and the target audience will come later? Or you would suggest to start with that, as any proper business should?
If we compare to a business or a technology company like Sellfy, For example, then also in the first days, months, even years of Sellfy, we also didn't know how to do things, what's the best product we should build and things like that. And it came out of experimentation, get to know us, our team, needs of our clients, and so on. And I think the same logic also applies to creators. I have talked with many of them, and they said, I started this YouTube channel 5 years ago. The first year, nobody watched the videos, and then slowly the audience started to grow. And those stories are very typical, from the first video, from the first podcast episode, or the first blog post. You will probably not know what's the best you can do to grow your audience, and eventually also to develop this into a business. But I think that experimentation and also following and seeing what your audience likes and appreciate will lead to good results. So don't be afraid to experiment, to try things out, and also to learn from other creators. I think all those things combined will make you into a successful creator.
How important do you think it is to have a good business sense in the creator economy? Not necessarily as an entrepreneur, but as a creator that tries to be successful. How important it is to have knowledge about things that even you mentioned, charging, finances, stuff like that.
I think this could be learned, right? It always helps that you know how to do business, how to do some basic operations, how to do hiring. Even creators, they very often hire people to support them. So it's not maybe a lot different from a small business, a classic small business. So it definitely helps, but I think this is a skill set you can definitely learn. It's also something that always changes. There are new technologies, new possibilities, and you can always adapt to that. And this is the place where actually the community comes in, right? You can always learn from other creators who have already done some of the things you are trying to accomplish. I think learning is a skill set that you need to have, but everything else you can then pick up later down the road.
That's a very good point. How would you then go about learning any new skill? Would you go to YouTube? Would you try to find the university course? Would you just try to do something and see how it goes?
Yeah, nowadays I think there is a YouTube channel for everything, and maybe even 10 or 50 or 100 YouTube channels on a single topic. There are many communities online. I think also the creator community as such is very open. You can definitely get on a call or meet a fellow creator and learn from them. I think there are many options specifically now in the creator economy, creator space, to learn to educate. Podcasts like this, YouTube videos, a lot of content online. I think the problem actually becomes, how do you find the best piece of advice from all this this is maybe another topic. But there is definitely opportunities to learn.
That's a very good topic. Now I'm going to ask you to answer the question you posed yourself. So how do you define a good piece of content?
I will again go back to comparing this to my own experience creating a company and business, right? And when we first started, we actually went through the Startup Accelerator, which is a typical thing that many companies do in tech companies. And we also have a very good relationship with a few mentors, and still we talk with them on a regular basis. So going back to creators, I think it's also a very good idea to be inside this space, inside this community, and learn from other people who have done those things before you. And I think that's the quickest, most easiest way how you can accumulate the knowledge that you need, and also maybe ask some challenging questions to them. So that's kind of I think the step one and kind of the basics. And then if you can pair that with learning online through YouTube videos, communities, podcasts, blog posts, and whatnot, I think that only kind of broadens your overall understanding of how these things work, and will allow you to become better every day.
You mentioned a mentor. Can you expand on that a little bit? How does a mentor help? Is it with specific skills or just an outside look at sort of what you're doing yourself?
There are some specific knowledge that you need to know, whether it's like software development, hiring, finances, etc., that you can ask different people, right? When I think kind of closer relationship with besides just a regular advice becomes important, and these I call mentors, is people who can actually together with you go through the journey and not only give you specific knowledge but also support you emotionally because sometimes it's very draining process. Support you emotionally, understand where you are when you try to solve very challenging questions that concerns maybe business or even personal life, but it definitely affects also your business. I think that kind of knowledge, not only about the business but life as such, is also very important when we talk about mentorship and understanding and consulting other people.
All right, so a little quick fire round, short questions and short answers. You ready for it?
Yes, let's do it.
Team player or lone wolf?
A bit of both.
Take risks or carefully calculate?
Camp of calculation.
Mobile or desktop?
Work, desktop. Entertainment, mobile.
Who inspires you most?
It's not a bullshit answer. I will say my customers, because when I see people doing successful things, being successful at what they are, it also gives me a lot of drive to do things better and improve myself.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I had this dream once to become a bartender.
All right. What is an underappreciated business tool that you couldn't live without?
Spreadsheets, for sure.
What's your productivity life hack?
Spreadsheets.
And
no, actually, productivity. Yeah, I'm also really support the strategy to do important things first in the day, and then leave everything else later for afternoon. So important things first in the morning when you have a fresh head, the best thing.
What does success mean to you?
Living life on your own terms.
Beautiful. Now, I would really like to come back to one of your answers in our quickfire round. When you talk about doing the important things first, does it only work during one day and the important tasks happen first, or in life or business in general? And how do you choose that one important thing?
I actually think that, doing things first when there is something challenging or important for you to do is actually helps to clear your head. It actually uplifts you to do other tasks. So I think solving problems or challenging situations first is very important, not just looking at what particular day, but also in life in general.
Can you go a little bit? Do you have some sort of system that you follow, whether it's a sticky notes that you're writing your tasks on or calendar runs your life? How do you manage all the tasks and all the things that you have to do?
Yes, I do have some system for both for the calendar when I do and kind of divide my time, especially for those important tasks. But it's not too busy for me. I leave a lot of opportunity to be flexible during my day and week. And then I also treat my email as a to-do list, right? So I'm also in the camp of
inbox zero. Yeah, me too.
And there are very few emails in my inbox usually, and I try to treat them as my to-do list and solve those incoming questions or the things that I need to do. So those two things combined actually gives me my framework how I operate.
You mentioned that you actually try to leave a lot of time for not to squeeze too much. I understand in one day, in one calendar day. And I know working with Sellfy and working with the team that you value work-life balance, let's call it, very much. How do you approach it? And how would you advise people? Like, what is the rule? Would you advise to actually limit your workday to some specific amount of hours, or just whenever you're drained, you have to stop? How do you approach it yourself?
I try to be very flexible, and that's why it doesn't drain me out. I don't plan my time minute by minute. I try to do, as I said, do important tasks first, but also be very flexible so that I have time to explore, to learn, to connect with people, with colleagues, with customers, and I think that's very, very important. My daily schedule is made by me, not made by needs of others or needs of a business or something like that. I try to always apply my own schedule upon the business. If I put myself clear so that it's very easy for me to operate, and I can work from very early morning to the late in the evening, but for me it doesn't seem like work. I really like what I do because I have built a company that I like and I appreciate. I have hired the people that I like. I work with the customers that I also like. So there is nothing that would like stress me out or annoy me in this kind of life that I'm at. So I created this myself, and I'm really thrilled and happy to do all those things. Of course, there are some challenging situations, mood swings, and sometimes you are, a little bit down. But I think that's all normal. But like in general, I like where I am at, and the company that we have built, and the customers we have.
I think you're. Where you are is actually inspiration to a lot of people, because people not necessarily want to become solopreneurs or creative entrepreneurs to earn the big bucks, but it's a lifestyle, right? It's a freedom of managing your time as you seem to be doing. So congrats on that. But also, I presume that over the years, there has been some bumps and some more difficult times and issues. Can you shed a light of some biggest problems and how you have overcome them?
For every business, the beginning is very challenging. You stumble upon different things. You don't know a lot of stuff that you need to know and that you eventually learn. So the beginning is always challenging, and that's why I'm really happy with my co-founder and people who we started Sellfy with together. The community around us as well, because this is how we kind of keep our sanity, and we're able to move forward and somewhat kind of figure out those things and how to better to do them. And also thinking more specifically about Sellfy and about our journey, there are of course some challenging moments, like for example when we needed to fire our colleagues because we ran out of money, and we needed to kind of downscale the company. That was not a good moment, something to be proud of, but we needed to do it because the product that we built at the time and the strategy that we and I developed wasn't good enough to sustain the company. So we let go a few people, reorganized the stuff, rebuild the product, and from that moment it started to grow again.
Can you go a little bit more in depth about the product problems that caused all this? What was it?
Yes, we initially launched Sellfy as a place to sell digital products only. It had a lot less features than now But we were at that kind of a very simple tool to do e-commerce online and social media for digital products specifically. And after a couple of years, we saw that there are many users with a lot of products on our platform, and we had this idea to develop this into a marketplace. But we really didn't understand how complex the marketplace creation actually is, and what skills and marketing effort you need to do to actually make the marketplace work. For us, it was a lot of lost time and money to figure out the different things that actually didn't work in the end, and we needed to pivot back, somewhat back, kind of to the basic platform, and then again expand that, but expand as a e-commerce platform, adding more possibilities for merchants, rather than building something very different, which is a marketplace with the totally different customer dynamics there. So I think that going back and being focused really helped for the product. And
that's actually a problem that a lot of people have, that they take one avenue and then they stick to it, and then you don't know where is the point at which you have to pivot and turn back, right? It's a famous sunk cost fallacy, meaning you invested so much resources and money, and maybe you're thinking like, maybe one more step, one more hurdle we jump through and everything is going to turn around. How would you advise people to avoid this pitfall? And when is the moment? How do you recognize the moment? Then you have to actually take a few steps back.
For us, it was easy. You see that your balance in bank account gets thinner and thinner, and you know that there is something wrong that you did in a business. Maybe you hired too many people. Maybe your product doesn't work. That's why you cannot attract enough customers. But there is definitely something wrong about your strategy. So that diagnosis is very kind of easy to do. And for us, we also, we noticed that things are not developing. We are not growing the business. The activity of our merchants who are signing up is becoming smaller and more challenging for them to activate. So we noticed all those kind of negative dynamics when we launched the marketplace, and we ran it for nearly a year, and we started to notice that there is something wrong about our product, and we needed to do something different. And then we sit together, we try to figure out what actually worked previously in the past before we made the pivot. What are the things that we can take and build upon going forward? And this is exactly what we did.
Okay, you wanted to build the marketplace in order to help people sell their products, right? To find an avenue for them to sell them. Where do the successful creators, most of them, sell their product? Is it these days blogs or TikToks? Do you see the traffic coming in from some specific platform or specific place?
We have thousands of creators currently selling on Sellfy, and we have very good knowledge and understanding where the traffic comes from and what actually converts better. And what we have noticed that there is a correlation between the sales, monetization in general, not only e-commerce, but like even if you are running ads or sponsorships. If you have been successful in creating very tight relationships with your audience, then you will be more successful also in the monetization efforts. And there are some platforms, I can say, for example, YouTube for sure, where this connection between you as a creator and your audience is very tight compared to some other platforms. If you are also providing some educational content, then you really have a lot of opportunities to monetize that audience and that content. So there is definitely better avenues to build your audience, to build those relationships with your followers and fans and subscribers. And also the content plays a very important role when it comes down to monetization.
What kind of role?
Educational content usually works a lot better. There are different products from ebooks, courses that you can sell, but also for the same physical products, there is a lot of the stuff that you can sell, again, specific to your audience and your niche, and even merchandise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for content that is maybe more entertaining, right? You can maybe a lot quicker build the audience, but then again, it's very hard to figure out what you can, how you can monetize that, right? And then maybe different sponsorship or print-on-demand products. But it's definitely a bit more challenging to monetize and monetize well if your content is more like entertaining versus more educational.
I also hear quite a lot that subscriber or a follower is not equal across channels. So a follower on TikTok is not as valuable as a subscriber on YouTube, and also an email subscriber is infinitely times more valuable than any other sort of follower. Do you also see that as well, especially in your platform with your creators, that emails bring still a lot more conversions than social media platforms?
Yes, absolutely. So the relationship between you and your audience is completely different on different platforms, and this is something that you need to understand and account for. And same goes also not for social media, but for email subscribers or website traffic, right? So one is kind of direct contact you have with your audience, with your customers. You have their email address. You can personalize. You can write a message. There is some communication already between you two. And this translates also in sales, in monetization that you eventually do. So the channel is very important. How quickly you can grow in each channel, then it also affects that. Maybe in platforms where content is much more dynamic, it's shorter, it's very easy to grow quicker initially and build that audience. And then maybe on platforms that are moving a bit slower, but then the connection is tighter between you and your audience.
We talk a lot about video platforms, but I'm interested to know, you as a former blogger, how do you see blogs standing these days? And do you see a lot of traffic and purchases coming also from written blogs?
There is some traffic that definitely comes from those avenues because, again, creators are different. Some like video content, some like written content, some like audio content. For every creator is different. It's also very specific on the topic, on the niche. For some, maybe video works better. For some written content, again, we can dive into different niches. If you are entertaining people, I think the video always works better. If you want to provide some very specific knowledge, or there is a lot of information, numbers, texts, research, I think then the written piece of content that you can actually take and read and dial into, maybe in some areas works better. Of course, the online courses is also a big segment in that transfer knowledge, but I think written piece of content is also very important. So it's very niche specific, very creator specific, I would say, and that's why we talked in the beginning also about different creators and how they approach the content creation. So it also depends on that.
There's a place for everybody, right? And if you were to build your personal brand and start your own solo business, where would you go?
It's a good question. I always wanted, but don't have time to do it.
Hey, sorry, but you just say that you have a lot of time because you manage it so well. Come on.
I don't know. I really like video. I like watching video. Would I be a good on videos? I don't know. But I think that's something that interests me more than maybe writing. So yeah, creating educational content, educating people, I think would be something that I would like to do, and I'm already doing by mentoring some founders who are starting a business, I like to get a coffee with them, spend a couple of hours discussing their business challenges and stuff like that. And I think there is also a broader audience for that type of content. This is my knowledge. This is something that I could bring to the table and discuss. Yeah.
All right, let's look a little bit to the future then. Where do you see the creator economy going as a whole? Is it video? Is it individual creators? Is it content platforms?
Yes, the video for sure, right? Because video just allows you to build that relationships between you as a creator and your audience to be much more natural, and you can immediately connect. And I think it really kind of it's a good solid connection, and I think that will be growing looking forward as well. But speaking about like monetization and building a business, I think also that will kind of be touched upon on this topic also briefly previously, but I think it will move also much more into physical world. We see creators becoming a lot more established, a lot more known in a broader broader perspective, and people recognize them, and they are becoming more and more superstars and rock stars than previously. And I think they will also move into maybe much more traditional sponsorships and e-commerce businesses, and will be much more prominent in those maybe much more traditional areas of business.
Okay, now to end with, I want to put you on the spot a little bit and ask you, how do you see this podcast that we're doing help your creators and your clients?
Yes, very good question. And I think it came out of some brainstorm we had previously. And within Sellfy, we always kept in touch with our customers. We talked with them, had regular calls, and we accumulated a lot of knowledge, not only about our product or how we could improve our product for them, but also about like different things that they use to grow the audience, create content, and things like that is maybe not directly correlated to Sellfy. And we always try to also educate our audience, creators who are starting, based on those tips and tricks that our kind of more established creators tell us about. And then we saw that why not link those two together and create a podcast where actual creator can come and say how they do different things, provide some tips and tricks for maybe creators who are just starting, and with us maybe being in the middle. So again, creators learning from creators. That's the connection we are trying to build with the Careers 2.0 podcast, and I hope that the audience will be able to learn a lot from creators who come as guests and tell about their journey.
All right, I guess I'll have to cut out this clip and watch it every time before an interview happens. That this is our goal, and this is my goal. I take it upon myself as well to help creators learn from other successful creators.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Maris. It was a pleasure to talk with. Well, it always is, off camera, on camera, doesn't matter. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Filip.
And that's the very first episode done. What did you think? No, really, I want to know. So shoot me an email to filip@sellfy.com or find me on Twitter and let me know who you'd like us to talk with and what aspects of being a creative entrepreneur interest you most. Next episode coming your way soon, so please subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.